Hi, welcome back to Music with Jay. Today I will be taking you through a brief rundown on the essential basics of music theory. Keep in mind I am no expert, but I have done a little research to supplement my knowledge. In music, there are 7 notes. We call this the musical alphabet. It is A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Another way you can refer to the notes in music is with solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. There are 12 notes in total, and this is including the accidentals. So you have A sharp or B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat. There are multiple types of notes based on the relative length they are played for. A whole note is a semibreve and lasts for 4 counts. A half note is a minim and lasts for 2 counts. A quarter note is a crotchet, held for 1 count, and an eighth note, or a quaver, is held for half a count. It does go on smaller than that, but quavers are the shortest notes you will encounter in basic music. Now we will move on to clefs. There are 4 music clefs. You have treble clef, bass clef, tenor clef, and alto clef. Tenor clef and alto clef are both considered C clefs because the symbol of the clef is around the line that is C on the stave. And bass clef is called the F clef because it is around the line F. Treble clef is called the G clef because it is around the line that is G. You will find the clef at the beginning of each line of music and whenever it changes during the piece. Now the clefs sit on a stave. Now a stave is a set of 5 parallel lines on and between which notes are written to represent certain pitches. Notes placed on the same line or in the same space can mean different pitches depending on the clef. A stave can also be temporarily extended above or below by adding ledger lines. Now I'm going to talk about pitch briefly. Pitch is how high or low a note sounds. Scientifically, it is measured by the frequency of the sound wave vibrations emitted by playing a note and measured in the unit hertz. Every note has its own individual pitch. One of the most important parts of music is the rhythm. Rhythm is the division of beat into repeating sequences based on the speed or tempo of the music. Rhythm is directly influenced by our next topic, time signatures. Time signatures show how many of what length of note are in each bar or measure of the music. It is represented by 2 numbers. The top number tells you how many beats or pulses there are in each bar, and the bottom number tells you what type of note, minim, crotchet or quaver, makes up 1 beat. For example, the time signature 4/4, also known as common time, is 4 quarter notes or crotchet beats per bar. Similarly, 3/8 is 3/8 notes or quaver beats per bar. Key signatures signify what notes will be played as sharps or flats throughout the piece of music and identify what the key of the piece is. As there are 12 possible playable notes, there are 12 key signatures. For example, F sharp and C sharp represents the key signature of D major, and B flat and E flat represent the key signature of B flat major. You will also find the key signature written at the start of the piece or wherever it changes throughout. Now we will move on to intervals. This is the distance in pitch between any 2 given notes. They are measured with semitones, also known as half steps, or tones, full steps. Intervals include unison, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and octave. There are also 5 interval qualities described by perfect, major, minor, augmented, and diminished. Unison is a perfect interval, for example, C and C, that is unison. A second can be major or minor, In this case, it is major, represented by C and D. The third interval can also be major or minor, and in this case is G and B. The fourth interval is usually perfect but can also be changed to be augmented or diminished. In this case, it is perfect C and F. A fifth is also a perfect interval, but can be changed to augmented or diminished. This case, it is represented by A and E. An interval of a sixth can be major or minor. In this case, major with G and E. A seventh can be major or minor, in this case C and B. And an octave is always perfect. And it is similar to a unison with E and E, but as it's called an octave, uses two different octaves. Normally the key part of any song is the melody. This is what we remember. The melody is the main tune of the song, composed of a group of notes of different pitches with different rhythms. This is the part of the song or piece of music that is usually left stuck in someone's head. I have written the melody to the first 2 bars of Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now we will add a harmony. A harmony accompanies a melody usually in a complementing way. Simply, a harmony is when multiple different pitched notes are played simultaneously. Lastly, we will add chords to the first 2 bars of Mary Had a Little Lamb. Chords build the basis of every song. Major chords, minor chords, diminished chords, and augmented chords. To be a chord, these notes are played simultaneously. You can have a broken chord, which are the notes of the chord played separately but in quick succession. Now we will move on to a bit of expression in music. One of the key ways of adding expression into music is with dynamics. Dynamics is a musical term for relative volume or strength of a note. The main dynamics are F, or forte, meaning loud or strong, and P, piano, meaning quiet or soft. The dynamics can be more complex if adding M, meaning mezzo, in front, meaning moderately. Also, if the dynamic is PP, meaning pianissimo, or FF, fortissimo, then it is very soft or very loud. This leaves us with the dynamic range of pianissimo, piano, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, forte, fortissimo. By adding more P's or F's onto the dynamic, it will mean softer or louder respectively, and add an extra issy on the word. For example, pianissimo or fortissimo. Dynamics also includes an increase or decrease in volume. This can be represented by a word or a hairpin symbol. For decreasing volume, you can write diminuendo, shortened to dim, D-I-M, and it is represented by a hairpin left to right going from large to a point. An increase in volume is called a crescendo, or C-R-E-S-C, and is represented by a hairpin left to right going from point to large. Another form of expression in music is articulation. Articulation describes the way a note is formed or played, either to sound distinct or clarified, or smooth and connected. The most basic of these articulations are staccato, meaning short and detached, represented by a small dot above or below the note it applies to. Tenuto, meaning hold the note for its full value, represented by a short line above or below the note it applies to. Another articulation is an accent, meaning to add stress or emphasis to the beginning of the note with a slight taper. This is represented by a small hairpin-like symbol above or below the note it applies to. Lastly, there is the slur, which means to play all the notes under the slur without rearticulation or a break in the sound, playing them smoothly and connected. This is represented by a curved line going from the first to the last note in a slurred phrase. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learnt something and this helped you with your music. Don't forget to write any feedback or any questions in the comments below. I am excited to hear from you. Keep learning and loving music. See you next time.